Today, I want to share with you how to create a master calendar inside of Notion. This master calendar can also act as an activity log that documents all of the actions you do inside of your workspace. So what is a master calendar? What we're going to do is have several databases connect to one single calendar. I'm going to show you the easiest way to do this that doesn't require a lot of extra steps. So I'm going to share with you firstly how this master calendar works in a setup that already exists, which is my own. And then I'm going to show you how to do it from scratch. So all relevant links down below to copy the finished template, and let's just get right into it. Okay, so first I want to share with you how I personally use this use case with a master calendar / activity log. And I'm going to show you through this page here called Historical Context. This is where I do some note taking. And the reason why I want to show it through here is because two databases in this page are connected to my master calendar, in addition to my task list. I have two databases here connected to what is called an activity log. This is my main database. And the activity log has three different database views, one for each month between March and May, because that's when I started using this. And you'll notice that each card is a date. It is sorted by date as well, ascending. And in each card, you'll see a few things. Number one, you'll see how many tasks I have completed that day, how many notes I added, and how many media. So those are images inside of my media database. If I go over to May, there are incomplete tasks. These are tasks that I have scheduled for the future. So they have red circles, incomplete. And if I go into the page, it will give me a link to go to that task. You'll also notice that there is a formula instead of a date property. I'm using this formula to grab the title of this date and turn it into an actual date property so that if I go back and add a new view for calendar, and I show calendar by that date, the formula, it will give me every one of my activity log days inside of a calendar sort of automatically. So what I mean by that is if I add a new entry through the new button for April 2nd, 04/02, 2022, you'll notice that that date property has now been populated for the actual date of April 2nd, 2022. And if I click out, you'll also see it here in Saturday. So let's go maybe to April 5th. I have some notes that I added on this day and media. Let's go to this note here. And you'll notice that there is a relation property called added. And here I have a date that is the actual date of this event that happened, but also an added date. I can plug in 04/05/2022 from here, or let's actually put in a different date. Let's say 05/06/2022. Create new page. So let's navigate to that new page. A date has been added for May 6th. Notes added, and I can also select a new date. So if there's any tasks for this date, it will show up here. Or I can add it right from the body of the page. New task. It will automatically connect to 05/06. I could also add it in here as well, May 6th. My date property, status, priority inbox, and then I can go to my activity log, go to May 6th, maybe go to my gallery, and I'll see May 6th here, one task incomplete, which is the task we just created, and one note added. Also in the calendar, if I go to May 6th, go over to May, that Friday is now inside of the calendar. So I'm going to delete this view and I'm going to show you how in this calendar you can view a few things as well. So I have my master calendar here, which is just a new page that I created in my sidebar. And this is how I configure the database. So this is a linked database to or from the activity log. And I have a few things here as well, just like those gallery cards. It shows me how many tasks I've completed, notes added, and media added for the day. So in short, through databases that are connected to my master database, my activity log, like my event line database, I can create a new event, and through this relation property that I created, quickly add a date with the syntax, month, day, year, and I'm done. I can stay within my note page. I don't have to then navigate to my master calendar and make sure it's in the right slot to the right day in the calendar. That will all happen automatically in the background. And I can add more than one database. Of course, I have my media database that's also connected. And I can create a new day or select an existing day through the added relation property and through my task list as well. I'm now going to show you how you can create something like this from scratch. So just open up a new Notion page and we can do this together. Inside this blank page, what I want to do is create 3 different databases. I want to create one that is the activity log, the master calendar, and another 2 databases that are going to connect to it as examples. So let's create the first one, the activity log. That looks a lot like my activity log. I'm going to create a gallery view database by selecting / and typing in gallery. The database options should appear, and I'm going to go to new database. I'm going to rename this to the activity log. And the first thing I want to do is actually hide this database title. And I'm going to rename gallery view to May. Okay, so just like in my activity log, I have only the card title showing and the formulas. So to do that, I'm going to go to the database menu, go to layout, go to card preview. Instead of page content, I'm going to select none. And for card size, I do have it as small. Going into one of these cards, I will select some of these default properties to delete them. Actually, I'm going to delete both of them, both created and tags. And I'm going to create the property that is the date formula. So that is this formula here that generates a date from the title. And this formula will be available to copy and paste via the template down below. So I'm just going to highlight and copy that and paste it over. But first I have to create a property here called date, and I need to change the property type to formula. So this is still in our gallery database, and I'm going to paste that in. So all you need for this formula to work is a title called name. So let me change this to a date, and the date syntax has to be 2 digits at the front, which signifies the month, character or space, could be a / or a dash, the day, and then the year. You'll see it now shows up as May 6, 2022. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm going to go to the block menu of this database, and I'm going to turn this into a page. That is our activity log, maybe given an icon. Now I'm going to connect to this database the task manager. So I'm going to go / page to create a new blank page. I'm going to go to templates and select one of Notion's pre-made templates. Inside of the personal toggle, I'm going to select task list. This is a great place to start for task management. I'm going to use this template. Maybe change the icon up here. And in my tasks, I have everything colored in the background. So to do that, you're just going to go to the database menu, go to layout, and go to color columns. I'm also going to rename done to completed. And we have one example here, take Fig on a walk. Some of the default properties that come with it are date created and a status select property. I'm going to delete date created. And I'm going to keep status. Next, I'm going to add a property that is a relation to connect to that master database or activity log. So I'm going to create a property called toMaster Calendar. This can be in addition to a date property. So down in advanced, we're going to go to relation and select the database I want to connect to, which in this case is the activity log. create that relation, and I can also create maybe a classic due date property as well. And now I can go back to that home page, and I'm going to create the notebook database /page. We're going to create a new page, and again, I'm going to go to Notion's templates. Inside of the personal toggle, select Simple Notebook. Again, a great place to start for a notebook database. I'm going to use this template and just delete this empty filter here. And inside of some of these examples, like personal websites I like, let's look at the default properties it comes with. Created date, that's fine, I can keep that. Created by and tags. Now I'm going to create another property called added. So unlike the context of the task database, where that relation to the master calendar is a due date, this is going to just be the date that this note was added. So I'm going to call it added. Relation to the activity log. Create that relation. And now if I select through added, I can select a date that already exists inside of my master calendar, like May 6th, or create a new date like May 5th. And then continue working. Remember to do tomorrow, I can say added May 6th. Now let's go back to that activity log. Take a look at what happened. So we have two different entries here now, May 5th and May 6th. What I can do to start is go to sort and sort by date, so it is in order. And then I can go to one of these cards and take a look at some of these backlinks. So we have a backlink from related to Simple Notebook. These are all of the notes added to this day. So I can just rename this to Notes Added. And the next one can be Tasks Due or Tasks Allotted. For May 6th, we do have Notes Added. Now for Tasks Allotted, I can look through here and just select a task, or through my task database to master calendar, I can find the date. Let's say May 5th. Great, so we have a database view for May. If I create a new card here, that is not May and is June, so June 1st, 2022. I want it to go to a June database view. So this May database view has to be configured or filtered. So select Filter, the Date formula, Advanced Filter, and Date is on or after. Custom date, in this case, is going to be May 1st. And date is on or before the last day of May, May 31st. And I'm going to do this for each view. If I quickly want to create a June database view, I can click on May and go to Duplicate, rename this to June, and because I duplicated, the filter will also duplicate. So if I click on Rules and Filter, is on or after May 1st, I can change that to June 1st, and before the last day of June. So all my June cards will show up here. Let's go back to the home page, and what else do we want to do? Well, if you take a look at my activity log here, I have these formulas that show through the card. And I'm reading both of these relations from notes and media, and also tasks due. And I have a tasks card, a notes card, and a media card, which are all formulas that are showing through each one of these gallery cards. So let's create those formulas inside of the activity log. So in May, I'm going to add a property here called the notes card and make it a formula. Now here's a really simple formula. I just want to count the number of notes that I've added for that day. So I just want to say, if not empty, so inside of the not empty function, I want to grab notes added. let's just go down to notes added. I'm just going to click that property up here. If that is the case, I want to find the number of notes added. For now, I'm going to put a quote here for the true condition. If it is empty, so the false condition, I'm going to put another empty quote. I'm going to create a test formula to show you how to fill in that true condition. So test, and how to count the number of relations that you have in a property. This formula also works for multi-select properties. First thing I'm going to do is take a look at how notes added looks. So I'm going to select the property inside of this formula, and it gives me the title of the one note I have, personal websites I like. So if I add another note, create new page, it gives me personal websites I like, comma, another note. So what I can do here is just isolate the commas, count those commas, and that should give me the amount of relations. Really, I have to count the commas plus 1. So to do that, I'm going to use the replace all function. I'm going to say replace all, and inside of this parentheses, notes added. What do I want to replace inside of this? Comma, what do I want to replace that with? So here, I want to replace everything that's not a comma. So inside of brackets, caret, comma. And then I'm going to say, what is the length of this? So how many characters is this? Should be 1 plus 1. So I have 2 notes. That is the formula. Now what I want to say here is only if notes added is filled out do I want this formula to occur. So I'm going to copy this, go back to notes card, and say only if, not empty, notes added, then give me the number of relations. So I just replaced the quotations there with this formula, and then the false condition could be 0. Now if I were to maybe remove another note, it should say 1, and remove this one, it should say 0. Now what I want to do is format this. So around this formula here that we made, I'm going to nest this inside of the format function up to +1. And then I'm going to replace the 0 with a quotation again. And now what I can do to make it look like mine, we have full sentences here, 3 notes added. So that's the reason why I formatted it. And I'm going to say after this 1 plus space notes added. And then maybe in front of format, we can put an emoji in quotes and then plus. And there it is. That is the full formula for the notes card. You can pause the video to copy. And I will also have this formula to copy and paste in the template page below. Okay, so I'm going to delete test. And let's take a look at tasks allotted. So in mine, I have not only what tasks or number of tasks were allotted for that day, but what are complete and what are incomplete. I'm going to add a property called task card, and again create that formula. But first, we need to determine what tasks are complete or incomplete. So I'm going to add a property that is called a rollup. So add a property, so tasks incomplete. And I'm going to go down to advanced and rollup. So what rollups need are just one relation. And what I can do is use a rollup like a window. So if I were to select tasks allotted, I can then select status and show it through my rollup. What I want to do is find the number of incomplete tasks, but since I'm using a status select property and not a checkbox, I want to instead create a checkbox. So I'm going to add a property here that is called done, but I still want to use my select property. So I'm going down to advanced and formula. I want a checkbox to tick only if the status reads completed. So I'm going to say status equals completed. And that's all I need to do. So if I were to change the status to completed for take Fig on a walk, it should be checked. Now going back, inside of this rollup, what I can do is configure it by clicking inside of the cell, going to relation, choosing an existing relation. In this case, I want to choose tasks allotted. And the property I want to grab from tasks is now the done checkbox formula. And calculate all unchecked, because I want to get all of the incomplete tasks. This time, what I can do, instead of grabbing notes allotted initially, let's grab tasks incomplete. So if task incomplete is greater than 0, I want to return the number of tasks incomplete. So tasks incomplete, otherwise 0. So this will give us number 1. What I want to do here is nest this inside of the format function to create text and say plus, in quotes, tasks incomplete. And the false condition now is a quotation. So the false condition will be if incomplete tasks are not greater than 0, that means all tasks are completed. But first, maybe before format, let's put an emoji here. What I have is a red circle emoji. In the false condition, I'm going to find the number of total tasks. So what I want to do in this false condition is kind of copy the notes card. And actually, I'm going to copy this entirely and paste it into the false condition. This seems kind of weird, but all I really have to do here is change all instances of notes added. So to do this, I can actually go Command F and look for notes added in my formula and just replace it with tasks allotted. And instead of notes added here at the end, I can say tasks completed. And instead of this note-taking emoji here, I'm going to replace it with a check mark. And that is the finished formula. So let's take a look at how this works. I'm going to go to tasks allotted. I'm going to change Take Fig on a Walk to status completed. Now all tasks for this day are completed, and it should say 2 tasks completed. What if there's no tasks? It should be empty. Now that we have that, I'm going to hide this task incomplete rollup because it's kind of working in the back end. So I'm going to click it and go to Hide Property, Hide Always. And I'm also going to hide these cards because I only want to see them through the gallery. So if I go back to the activity log and to the galleries, I can then go to the database menu, go to Properties, and show the task card and the notes card formula. Now let's take a look at how to visualize this in a calendar. So what we've created thus far are 2 databases that connect to a master via a relation property that you can quickly add right through this relation property portal. But I want to see all of these activity log dates inside of an actual calendar view. I'm going to create a separate page for that called master calendar. So /page. The reason why I do this is just more of a personal preference. Look for a calendar emoji. When you have a calendar view in a database page, it's sort of an endless scroll and it kind of hurts my eyes. So I'm going to show you how to create a linked database. So I'm going to go /linked database to link to that activity log we created. I'm going to select the activity log, and it should give me some options of May or June, which are the gallery views that we created. Or I can create a new empty view, which is what I want to do. New empty view and select calendar. Show calendar by date. And that is the formula date. It did automatically create an actual date property, which we're going to delete. Done. So I'm going to go to properties and actually delete that. We have the date formula, notes added relation, the notes card, task card. So I'm going to show task card and notes card. I'm going to hide the linked database title. I'm going to go to the top of the page and actually make it full width. and that is via the page menu in the top right-hand corner. Go over to May, and we should have all of our cards here, just like how I have mine inside of my master. Except the difference here is that I have a little divider underneath the name of the card, and that's pretty easy to make. Let's click through to one of these and add a property called divider. You can make this a text or a formula, and inside the formula, in quotations, I can just put some dashes. Hide this, always hide. And back to the database menu and to properties shown, show the divider. And put this up at the top. So in addition to this, I also have a template made. So if I go to one of these cards with tasks, in the body of the page I do have tasks. And I can add new tasks that automatically connect to this date. That is really convenient, especially if you're using something like a Zettelkasten setup for your note-taking. So let's create that template. I'm going to go to New and this arrow down here, New Template for the activity log, and call this template New Date. And open this up as a page. Now inside of the body of the page, I can create another linked database to my tasks and my notes. So / linked database, once again, linked view of database, and I'm going to first select the task list, new empty view, make it a list, and what I want to do is show properties of status. From here I'm going to create a filter back in the database menu that says to master calendar, so that relation is the name of this template, which is new date, and it should be at the top of the list here. So it contains new date. I also want to hide the title of this database and rename list to tasks. I can also add a new view to add notes to the body of the page that automatically connect to this date. So add a new view, and I'm going to look for notes, simple notebook, maybe create a list as well. Go to filter, added relation, so that's the relation from notebook to the master calendar, contains again new date. I'm going to hide that title as well and rename list view to notes. Great. Now I can go back to the activity log, or I can go back to the master calendar page, next to new, or inside of the page, go down to the body and select the new date template that we just created, and it should populate all of the tasks for this date and notes. What you can also do is add new tasks or notes through new, and it will automatically connect to that date. And you can also add new notes. So contextually, since we can see all tasks and notes inside the body of the page, we don't really need to see it up here. So I would click on both of these titles and hide the properties always. Also, we don't really need to see this date formula, so I'd also hide that. That is pretty much how my setup is. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that gave you a little bit of inspiration at the very least, and let you know how to create a master calendar. Master calendars are something that I've always wanted to tackle inside of Notion, but never really got around to doing it, mostly because I didn't really feel the need. I didn't have a lot of databases that needed to connect to a master calendar, because it does create what I thought would initially be a little bit too much of a workaround in Notion, would create too many extra steps into something that is actually very efficient and that I'm probably going to use here on out. So with that being said, I will see you guys the rest of the week on Twitter and next time with a new video. I'll see you then.